In this video, we're gonna learn a lot of words, more than 50 words about crimes, criminals, and how criminals commit crimes. And we're gonna learn a very useful grammatical structure, which I think is something that most of you use, but you make mistakes when you use it. Along with some worksheets that I always give you with a speaking challenge. Let's go. So, before we start our lesson, let me tell you where I am. I'm in a jungle park. It is not a real jungle. It's not an artificial jungle. Artificial is a word that I commonly use in my videos about the places I go. But this is a kind of jungle park which was made by people. And there, I don't know if you have seen this video, but that is a lake, the artificial lake. Let me zoom in. That's the artificial lake that I have recorded some videos in. And yeah, those are some residential buildings. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here, and our today's video is being recorded in this location. Let me tell you about the story and the problem that I had, the incident which I had. It was, I think, 10 years ago. I was walking on the street, and it was sometime around 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. I was walking on the street, and that was not a crowded or busy street. That was a very empty street. There were not a lot of people there. So I was walking, and I saw a motorbike, a two-wheeler, which had two riders on. So I just saw them for the first time. They were looking at me a bit awkwardly, weirdly, and they just went away. Then they made a turn. They turned and they came back to me. And for the second time, they looked at me. They were, I think, analyzing me. And then I was like, okay, no problem. And I started to walk faster. I started to walk faster so that I could go to somewhere that is more crowded and busy. But I was not fast enough. So finally, the motorbikers, they came toward me, and one of them had a machete. I don't remember if it was a machete or a knife. I don't remember. But he just came across me, and he was like, "Give me your mobile phone." And when I saw that, I started to run as fast as I could. But I don't know what happened, that I just tripped over something and I fell down. So when I fell down, the guy, he came across me and he was looking at me like this. "Give me your mobile phone now." And I was really scared. And unfortunately, I had tight pants on. So it was hard to pull my mobile phone out of my pocket. What is pocket? This is pocket. So it was really hard to pull out my mobile phone out of my pocket. So finally, after struggling with the mobile phone and my pocket, I could pull it out. I could take it out of my pocket, and then I gave him the mobile phone. So first, let me tell you, what is the name of this kind of crime? We don't call it a robbery, no. We call it mugging. Mugging. What is mugging? When someone comes across to you with a knife, with a gun, with a machete, anything, and they threaten you and they want something from you, maybe your wallet, maybe some jewelry. Oh my God. Yeah, I just dropped my microphone. But I was saying that a mugger threatens you to get your wallet, mobile phone, or jewelry, and valuable stuff, you know. And the name of this action is mugging. The verb we can use for it is mug. They mugged me. Someone mugged me. And the person who does this action is called a mugger. A mugger. Finally, they got my mobile phone. And something really interesting is that that mobile phone was pretty new to me because my father had bought it for, I think, 20 days. So that was considered new. And I remember that was a Samsung J7 Pro. I went home, I was crying and I was frightened. And when my father saw me in that condition, he just ran toward me and he pulled up my t-shirt because he wanted to check if I was stabbed or harmed or anything. And thankfully I wasn't. What is the meaning of stab? You know, when you get a knife and put it in someone's body, knife, sword, anything that has a sharp edge. When you put it this way into someone's body, we call it stab. He wanted to check if I was stabbed or not. And thankfully I wasn't. So finally, he told me that your health and security and safety is more important than that mobile phone. And, well, the crows are fighting, I think. So finally, he told me that, okay, no problem. Your mobile phone is stolen, but I'm not going to buy a new mobile phone for you because I bought it 20 days ago. So finally, I started working, and that was how I started my business life. But I wasn't a teacher at the beginning. Now it's time to learn other words and crimes in English. Let's go. Actually, let's continue learning the words, but in parentheses, by the way, I was really thirsty that I bought a bottle of water. And this is also a kind of traditional Persian snack. In my language, we call it lavash, but in English, they call it fruits roll or fruit leather. It is really delicious, and if you search it on YouTube, you can see how it is made and you can make it and eat. It's really delicious, and if you make it, it will be healthy too. So let's continue with the words. We learned mugging, mugger, and mug. Now let's continue learning. Sometimes you may receive some messages from different people who you don't know. They might have some pictures, videos, or documents of you, and they might ask you to give them money in order to stop them from publishing and sharing your personal information on the internet. We call this crime blackmail. Blackmail. The person who does it is called a blackmailer, and the verb is blackmail. So someone blackmailed me. The other word that is also very useful is robbing. Robbery is the name of the crime. Robber is the person who commits the crime, and the verb is to rob. What is the difference between a robbery and a theft? A robbery is usually done with guns. they go to a shop, they go to the bank, and they rob the bank. They say, okay, give me all the money in your till, or give me all the money in the storage, in the warehouse. So this is called a robbery. But theft, for example, you have a car parked in front of your house or in the garage, and when you're sleeping, they steal your car. So this is called a theft. The person who commits this crime is called a thief. If it's plural, we call it thieves. So it's with V. And the verb is to steal something. Another crime that is done usually in cities and in big towns is vandalism. What is it? You know, you may have seen graffitis on the street or on the walls. We call that vandalism. They put spray or paint on public places or statues and so on. The person who commits the crime is vandal, and the verb for this action is vandalize. Another common crime is burglary. What is burglary? They break into your house. You don't want them to come to your house, so they come to your house illegally. So they break into your house and they steal your valuables. We call it burglary. The person who commits this crime is called a burglar, and the verb is to break into a house or anything like that. By the way, here there is a cat. I don't think you can see it. Let me make it wide so that you can also see the cat. It's eating something, and it was a bit interesting to me, so I wanted to show it to you. So yeah, the next crime is to kidnap. What is kidnapping? So when you take someone's son, family, or something hostage, and you, for example, you want money from his family or his father, mother, or you want anything. So when you take someone hostage and you want money or anything like that in order to set that person free. So we call this kidnapping. The person who commits this crime is called a kidnapper, and the verb for this crime is to kidnap. I hope you never get kidnapped. No one, I hope, gets kidnapped, because it's very scary. It's really scary. It happens usually to the family of rich people. The other crime that is also one of the most commons is fraud. What is fraud? You know, fraud is when you take something that is not yours, but in an organization or in a government. I know it's very common in most countries. So imagine I'm an employee, I work in a company, and the finance of the company is controlled by me. So I take some amount of the company's money and I transfer it to my own bank account. So this is fraud. The person who does it is fraudster, and the verb for it is to commit fraud. For example, in a lot of countries, the politicians commit fraud. Another crime that is, I think, very clear is hacking. When you hack something, or when you hack into something, and the person who hacks is a hacker. The other one, which is also common in organizations and governments, is bribery. What is bribery? Imagine I'm a builder. I'm a construction company. I want to build something here, but the government doesn't let me build here. They say it is illegal to build in this area. So what do? I give some money to the mayor, or maybe I give a flat or 2 flats to the mayor. I give something to the mayor so that they allow me to build a house here. So when you do something illegal by paying money to someone who is in charge of something, of an organization, we call it bribery. The verb is to bribe, and we don't have any name for the person who does it. So bribe and bribery. Another crime which is done mostly in big cities like London is snatching. What is snatching? Imagine I'm holding my mobile phone and I'm walking on the street. Suddenly, a two-wheeler, a motorbike, a bicycle, anything, or maybe a car, they pass by, they grab my mobile phone and they escape. So we call it snatching. The person who does it is a snatcher, and the verb is to snatch. So they snatched my mobile phone. Another crime which is really dangerous and it happens less frequently is hijacking. What is hijacking? Sometimes some people try to take control of a plane or a train, and they tell the pilot to land somewhere else. They don't go to the planned destination. We call it hijacking. The person who does it is a hijacker, and the verb is to hijack. And the last one, which is, I think, really unforgivable, is murder. What is murder? When someone kills another person, or maybe some people, we call it murder. The person who does it is a murderer, and the verb is to murder someone. There is another kind of murder, which is by poisoning. Like you put poison in someone's drink or food, they get poisoned, maybe they get sick, ill, or they die. So this is also a murderer. If you want to practice these words, you should go to our Telegram or WhatsApp channel. I have designed a worksheet for you so that you can practice these words and learn how to use them in real life. The channel's links are in the description. Go to the description and join our channel. If you want to learn English like a native speaker and you want to get fluent in speaking English, or you want to get prepared for IELTS, TOEFL, and other English exams, just send us a message on Telegram or WhatsApp. An easier way is to click on the link I have written in the description so that you can go to our website and get a free trial lesson with me. By the way, our group lessons are also moving forward to the next term. So if you want to join our group lessons with only $27 a month, send us a message on WhatsApp or Telegram. So now let's move on to the grammar. I don't know if you noticed or not, but for the people I didn't know, I used someone. Look, we have a lot of words like this. Someone, somebody, no one, nobody, anyone, anybody. When do we use them? We use them when we're talking about someone, somebody, a person, but we don't know who that person is, or we don't want to mention who that person is. So we use someone or somebody when we don't want to mention that person or we don't know who he or she is. For example, someone is looking at me. Maybe there's a person who is looking at me. I don't know who he is. So I say someone is looking at me. It is very important for you to know that when you want to use someone, something, or any of these words, you shouldn't use plural forms of the verbs. You should use singular forms of verbs. So someone is looking at me, or someone looks at me. We should use third person singular verbs. When do we use anyone, anybody? Again, we want to talk about people, but we use them in negative sentences, in negative statements, or in questions. For example, I don't have anybody to go out with. That means none of my friends are here to go out with me. Or in a question we ask, does anybody know where my mobile phone is? Does anybody know? Or do you know anyone who can help me? So we can use anybody, anyone in negative statements and in questions. And when do we use no one or nobody? We use no one or nobody in positive sentences, in positive statements, but they have negative meanings. What do I mean? For example, nobody calls me. The grammar, the structure of this sentence is positive, but the meaning is negative. Nobody calls me, or no one calls me. When we want to talk about stuff, things, and so on, we say something, anything, and nothing. So when I don't know what that thing is, or I don't want to mention it, I say, I have bought something, or I saw something on your t-shirt. What was it? You see, I don't know what it is. So I asked, I saw something on your t-shirt. When you want to make negative statements, you use anything. So I don't have anything. Or imagine you are bored, you should say, I don't have anything to do. And also in questions. For example, there's a party, your friends have come over to your place, and you would say, is anything bothering you? Is anything annoying you? It's a question. And nothing, like no one and nobody, we use it in positive sentences, but it has a negative meaning. For example, there's nothing that can annoy me. And finally, for places, when you want to talk about places, you say somewhere, anywhere, and nowhere. When we don't know where that place is, or we don't want to mention it, we say somewhere. For example, I went somewhere very exciting, but you don't know what the name of that place is, so you say somewhere. Anywhere in negative sentences, in negative statements and questions. For example, I don't know anywhere to go and have some entertainment. Question, do you know anywhere to go? And nowhere, as I mentioned before, we use it in positive sentences, positive structured sentences, but it has a negative meaning. For example, nowhere is open on Sunday. And of course, I know that you need further practice. So go to our Telegram channel or WhatsApp channel, and their link is in the description, by the way. I have designed a worksheet for this grammar. Go to that worksheet and practice. And finally, that was it for our today's video, lesson, it's better to say. If you enjoyed and I could teach you something new, please like this video and subscribe for more videos like this. See you next time.